Hi guys, welcome back. It is the first Tuesday of the month, which means we are talking books. Please excuse my voice. I have been sick. I actually thought it was allergies, but it turned out apparently I was sick. I think it might have been COVID, but I don't actually know because I didn't test myself. But I feel like it might have been. But who knows? Anyway, we're on the mend. We're back here. And like I said, it is the first Tuesday of the month and we are talking books. Not that you would have known that because this is actually the first time I'm doing it. So I think that today it's a little bit different because I got a whole lot of books going on here. So last month was my birthday and I decided that I was going to order a bunch of books for myself that were going to show up in May. Now might be a little bit difficult, but I had a TBR at the beginning of April that I was reading through, and one of the books on that took me almost the entire month of April to read because it was really, really hard for me to get into. So I think last month, I'm not, like I love to read, I do, but I'm not one of those people that can read like 10 books a month. I also, for some reason, pick books that have at least 700 to 800 pages that I need to read and get through. So that's okay though, because I like those books. But last month, it took me a lot of time to get through The City of Dusk. Now, in the end, I loved this book. The only reason why it took me so long to get through it was because there was essentially like 6 different points of view. And that was hard. And for the first half of the book, there was pretty much 4 points of view that they kept shifting between. So it was hard for me to grab onto the story until those points of view kind of came together. And even though through the book, those points of view did still continue to change, there were a couple of characters in the book that I could latch onto. And then that carried me through the whole rest of the book. In the end, I did actually love the book, even though it took me a while to get into. I had to force myself through the book though, because it was so difficult. So in the meantime, on those days when I couldn't get through this book, I did have, on the days when it was really hard for me to get through The City of Dusk, another book that I read, which I actually read on the plane when I went to Toronto, was Fatal 40. So I read this book on the flight on the way there. I had kind of started it before that. It was kind of my in-between thing because it was a really easy read. I liked the story, but there were some things that confused me about it. Namely, I mean, without giving out any spoilers, because I don't know if anybody's going to read them, because this is book 1 of a trilogy. The thing that I had trouble with in this book was that it's a story about angels, so it has to do with Gabriel, Michael, Lilith, and Lucifer. I do have a thing for angels and books and stories and stuff, so, you know, that's one of my things. But Lilith is married to Lucifer. Now, aren't Michael and Gabriel Lucifer's brothers, from what I understand? What we all understand, I'm pretty sure. But in this story, Gabriel and Michael are Lilith's brothers, which, seeing as God created Lilith, they would all be siblings, you would think. But she's married to Lucifer, and they classify Gabriel and Michael as Lucifer's friends, not his brothers, but classify them as Lilith's brothers. So I did have some trouble there. Still interested in the story, but did have trouble with that. And then her relationship with her brothers, to me, is a little bit creepy. I wouldn't hang out with my brothers the way she hangs out with her brothers and cuddles with them and stuff. Anyway, though, so this is a story about Lucifer and Lilith essentially attempting to live a human life, which, again, I'm interested in the story. I'm actually invested in the story, and I have started book 2. Now, the thing that I've noticed about using my Kobo, I do use my Kobo mainly for traveling, or if, you know, if I just want something easy to read. But I think I have a plan for that now so that I read more books on my Kobo, because I keep downloading books to my Kobo, but I'm not necessarily reading them. So anyway, the only 2 books that I read last month was Fighting 40 and The City of Dusk. Now, my to be read for May. Now I've already started reading one of them, and this was on my This is one of my TBR, and that's Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City. I like House of Blood and Earth, I swear. Okay, so I read the Throne of Glass series and the ACOTAR series a long time ago. I notice now they seem to be getting more hype than they did back then, but I did read those series previously and actually had to wait each year for the newest book to come out. So I've been reading them for a while. Loved them. Loved Throne of Glass. Loved ACOTAR. And I do definitely agree that the first book is not the best. It was the hardest one for me to get through. But as the story progressed, I fell in love with them. Now, bring me these guys. Okay, I have to say that Bryson Hunt, I love them. I love them so much. This is one of very few books that actually makes me laugh out loud while I'm reading it. Like just the interactions between each other. I love them. And it's a slow burn, which I also love. And I'm so excited. I can't even say I've been trying to power through it because it just, I think about the book. I automatically gravitate to it when I want to pick up and read anything. I usually read at night, usually between 7 and 9. Usually it'll extend past that, but that is the timeline I give myself because I got a lot of things going on. So I don't have a lot of time to sit there and read, but I do make sure that I carve out that time every day so that I can do it. This is one of my reads. I'm more than halfway through. This book does have more than 800 pages. 819 pages, and currently I'm on page 451, so I'm more than halfway through, and I'm hopefully going to be finished this one in not too much longer. Like I said, I'm not one of those people that can read like 10 books a month. They would have to be really short in order for me to do that. But I do have the books that I do want to read this month. So I did start the Crescent City series on May 1st. I did start that. And next in line, I do have book 2. So I do have the House of Sky and Breath. And that I'm going to read right after this one because, I just kind of have to. So that's on the list this month. This one by Elizabeth Rain and The Shadowbound Queen, A Court of Raven and Ruin. This is definitely, you can see how small this book is. This one shouldn't take me long at all. It's got like 298 pages. So this one should be an easy read for me. I honestly know nothing really about this book except for, what does the back say? Rhaena was born a valuable slave to the Gold Court, imprisoned for her whole life in a glittering palace by sadistic, greedy fae. When the palace is raided, she takes her opportunity to escape, but the raid is led by her worst nightmare, the prince of the most feared fae of all, the Shadow Court, and he wants one thing, her. The copper-haired, rune-marked human. Rhaena doesn't know why the prince has kidnapped her, but when he announces her as his betrothed, she knows that she must escape before she is eternally bound to the monster behind the mask. Only when he takes the mask off, he isn't what she expects. He's lethal, beautiful, and exudes sin, and he needs her. Oh. Drawn into a deadly world shrouded in secrets and desperate to keep her own hidden, Rhaena must find a way out. If she doesn't, she risks more than just death. She risks everything to her intoxicating captor. All right. I do a lot of my choosing of books by the book covers. And that's what I did with this one. I didn't actually read what the story was about, but I did choose it by the book cover. I'm okay with that. That's okay. It does sound like it's right up my alley. So this will be a nice little quick read, I think, after I'm done the 2 giant books that I am reading. After that, I actually moved this one down a level because I wanted to get that other book done. But this one by Jennifer L. We're going to go with that. Fall of Ruin and Wrath. I've been waiting to read this one. I am excited about it. I have read her Blood and Ash series and her Fire and Flesh series. And actually, as of today, because today is May 7th, I think it's a Soul of Blood and Ash. Is it a Soul of Blood and Ash? I have to check. I'll put it on the screen somewhere because I can't get up. But the latest book in, I think it's her Fire and Flesh series. I think it's the last book in the Fire and Flesh series. That book should have dropped today, but I'll confirm. So I want to order it, but I want it in a paperback. I don't want it in a hardcover because of the other books I have are all paperbacks, and I don't want that one that sticks out. But anyway, I digress. Fall of Ruin and Wrath. This one I'm excited about because it has to do with someone we haven't heard of. So, just to read the inside jacket for you. Long ago, the world was destroyed by gods. Only 9 cities were spared, separated by vast wilderness, teeming with monsters and imaginable dangers. Each city is now ruled by a guardian, a royal who feeds on mortal pleasure. Oh, geez. We have a thing going on here. Born with an intuition that never fails, Callista knows her talents are of great value to a power-hungry... Wait. Callista knows her talents are of great value to the power-hungry... Born with an intuition that never fails, Callista knows her talents are of great value to the power-hungry of the world. So she lives hidden as a courtesan of the Baron of Archwood. In exchange for his protection, she grants him information. When her intuition leads her to save a traveling prince in dire trouble, the voice inside her blazes with warning and promise. Today, he'll bring her joy. One day, he'll bring her doom. When the Baron takes an interest in the traveling prince and the prince takes an interest in Callista, she becomes the prince's temporary companion, but the city simmers with rebellion, and with knights and monsters at her city gates. That was weird. And with knights and monsters at her city gates and a hungry prince in her bed, intuition may not be enough to keep her safe. Callista must choose, follow her intuition to safety or follow her heart to her downfall. I'm going to eat that up. I'm really going to eat that up. That's just, I'm here for it. And because I already like her writing style, it's going to go. It's going to be a good one. That brings me to 2 more books of May that do not, so as I said in a previous video, I am a series girly. I love to read books that are at least a trilogy or more. I love to become invested in the characters. But there are books that I will read as standalones very seldomly, and one of the only authors I read standalone books for is Stephen King. I do love Stephen King's stories. I always have. I think one of the very first adult books I read when I was like 16 years old was actually like book 1 of the Dark Tower series, The Gunslinger. So he was kind of the start to my adult novel reading. But this one is called Fairy Tale. And again, I really liked the cover of this book. This is one of the reasons why I grabbed it. And what is this one about? Okay. Charlie Reed looks like a regular high school kid, great at basketball and football, a decent student, but he carries a heavy load. His mom was killed in a hit-and-run accident when he was 7, and grief drove his dad to drink. Charlie learned how to take care of himself and his dad. When Charlie is 17, he meets a dog named Radar and her aging master, Howard Bowditch, a recluse in a big house at the top of a big hill, with a locked shed in the backyard. Sometimes strange sounds emerged from the shed. Charlie starts doing jobs for Mr. Bowditch and loses his heart to Radar. Then, when Bowditch dies, he leaves Charlie a cassette tape telling a story no one would believe. What Bowditch knows, and what he's kept secret all his long life, is that inside the shed is a portal to another world. Yeah, that's for me. That's for me. And it will actually be a nice shift and change from the like fantasy romance field, stuff like that. So I'm excited about that one. I can't wait to get to it, but it is kind of like 1, 2. Now, the other one, so pretty much what I'm telling you is that I'm going to attempt to read 6 books this month. I don't know if I will, but I'm going to attempt it. Now, the last book that is on my TBR for May is The Book of Doors. This book, I know nothing about, but again, book cover, like, it got me. Excuse me. It got me. It was just, and even the pages, like they've got, I don't know if you can tell, but if you look at the texture of the pages, it's just, this book feels, it just feels good. What have we got going on with this one? Okay. Cassie Andrews works in a New York City bookstore, shelving books, making coffee for customers, and living in an unassuming... Now my nose is stuffed. Cassie Andrews works in a New York City bookstore, shelving books, making coffee for customers, and living an unassuming, ordinary life. Until the day one of her favorite customers, a lonely yet charming old man, dies sitting at his usual table in the store. Cassie is devastated. She's always loved his stories, and now she has nothing to remember him by. Nothing, that is, but the last book he was reading. And one other he left for Cassie. The other book, covered in faded, cracked leather, is no ordinary book. It is the Book of Doors. Inscribed with enigmatic words and mysterious drawings, it promises Kathy that any door is every door. She just needs to know how to open it. Soon, Kathy is approached by a gaunt stranger in a rumpled black suit. Drummond Fox is a Scottish librarian. Drummond Fox is a Scottish librarian who keeps watch over a unique set of rare volumes. The tome in Cassie's possession is not the only book with great power, but is the one most coveted by those who collect them. Now Cassie is being hunted by the few people who know about the special books. With just her roommate Izzy to confide in, she has to decide if she will help the mysterious and haunted Drummond protect the Book of Doors and the other books in his secret library's care from those who would do evil. Only Drummond knows where the library is, and only Cassie's book can get them there. But some are willing to kill to obtain those secrets, and a dark force in the form of a shadowy, sadistic woman is at the very top of the list. All right. Okay. This is the book that hopefully I will end the month of May on. Through my book haul, my birthday book haul. These will probably be the books that I try to get through in June. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so these are the books that I got for my birthday. So the funny thing is that a couple of days before my birthday, I made my book purchases from Indigo. Later on that day, my daughter showed up with a gift card for me for Indigo. But that's okay, because I did use that gift card to get more books. The first one that I got, which I was super excited about, and I'd actually seen in other book blogs, and as far as I know, it is a dark fantasy, and that is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. So from what I understand, this series of books is the darker side of fairy tales. So this one is about Captain Hook. So let's see. What does the back say here? It says he wants revenge, but he wants her more. Ooh. James has always had one agenda: destroy his enemy, Peter Michaels. When Peter's 21-year-old daughter Wendy shows up in James's bar, he sees his way in, seduce the girl and use her for his revenge. It's the perfect plan until things in Jamie's organization start to crumble. Suddenly, he has to find the traitor in his midst, and his plan for revenge gets murkier as James starts to see Wendy as more than just a pawn in his game. I mean, of course. Wendy has been cloistered away from most of her life by her cold, wealthy father, but a spontaneous night out with friends turns into an intense and addictive love affair with the dark, brooding James. As much as she knows James is dangerous, Wendy can't seem to shake her desire for him. But as the relationship grows more heated and she learns more about the world he moves in, she finds herself unsure if she's falling for the man known as James or the monster known as Hook. I'm already invested, just from the back of that, and knowing that it's kind of based off of a fairy tale. I mean, you show me the darker sides of fairy tales, I'm okay with that. If you know anything about Hans Christian Andersen and how quite a few of the Disney stories that you may know and love were actually originally tragic fairy tales, I'm okay with it. Hooked. That is one of the books for my birthday haul. The second book I got was The Midnight Kingdom, and this is book 2 to City of Dusk. I don't want to read the back to you only because it will kind of give away what happens in book 1. I won't read the back of it, but I can definitely say that it starts right after all hell breaks loose in book 1. I can't wait to read this one. Another book cover that I just love. Hooked as well. Dark and brooding, so I'm here for it. I do have to say that if you have read the City of Dusk series so far, that I am team Last Rider for sure. You're gonna have to read the book if you want to know what that means, but yeah, go Tasia. Book 2, The Midnight Kingdom by Tara Sim. All right. These next 2 books I'm very excited to read, but I was very upset at the fact that I got the limited edition book covers when that's not what I wanted. Chose these books based on a book vlog that I love, and I just really wanted the normal book covers. And when I actually chose the books that they were showing had the original book covers, but I got the limited edition ones, and I'm not overly a fan, but whatever, they're here now. So I'm not going to do anything about that. So book 1 of the Plated Prisoner series, and that is Guild. So as far as I know, Raven Kennedy is telling kind of another story of King Midas. Yes. Okay. So the inside cover reads gold. Gold floors, gold walls, gold furniture, gold clothes. In Highbell, in King Midas's castle built into the frozen mountains, everything is made of gold. Even me. This compelling story is inspired by the myth of King Midas. The gilded world of Aurea will grip you from the very first page and show the dark side of greed through the eyes of the woman he gold touched. With romance, intrigue, and danger, this immersive adult fantasy series is as addictive as it is unexpected. Oh, okay. Please be advised that there are dark elements in this story that may be triggering, including violence, adult language, explicit romance, and non-consensual sex. Read at your own discretion. And I will. Still not happy about the limited edition book covers. I'm not a gold girl. I'm just not. But that's okay. So we've got that is on the docket. And then as well, I got book 2, which is Glint. So again, I won't read the inside of this one just because it might give away details from the first book, and we don't want to do that. Again, I've got book 2, and we're going to see how this series goes. Now I'm going to have to buy them all in hardcover all the time because I have the first 2 books in hardcover. Perfect. Okay. Next out of my book haul, this is one that I was actually really excited about, and I've heard so many good things about, and that's Fourth Wing. So I'm gonna give this story a shot, by Rebecca Yarros. I'll read the back of this one for you, and it is Fourth Wing, and this is, I love it when a book comes with a map because it really helps with the world building. Enter the brutal and elite world of the War College for Dragon Riders. All right. 21-year-old Violet Sorengale was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Yep. Now the commanding general, who also known for her tough as Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become one of the elite Navarre Dragon Riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away because dragons don't bond to fragile humans. They incinerate them. That is sad. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most will kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Roerson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She will need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Okay. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly, the kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Bathgate War College has an agenda, because once you enter, there are only 2 ways out. Graduate or die. How much do you want to bet they're going to make a movie about this? They're going to make a movie. I just bet they will. Anyway, I can't wait to get to this one. Now, the one thing I also do is I read my books in the order that I received them. So, unfortunately, for June, these are kind of at the bottom. But what a good way to possibly end out the month, right? But I won't end it there, because not only do I have that, I have book 2, Iron Flame. Yeah, we're going out. As you can see, I have a thing of doing things in 2s, apparently, if I can. So yeah, I've got Iron Flame here. I'm excited to see how this one compares to the first one, because I've just heard absolutely raving reviews about the first book. And I actually saw a reel yesterday, and he was kind of reacting a little bit to the books that his wife reads. And he said that she had bookmarked something in this book, and when he opened the book, he couldn't even read it out loud. So, color me intrigued, because now I need to know. Now I need to know. We all need to know. And then the last book that I will be reading for June is actually a book that was written by a friend of mine. I'm so excited that she's put this out. But I do have to say that it is not a genre that I typically read, because it is, I believe it's historical. I do have to dive a little bit more into it, but basically it's The Dragon and the Butterfly. And it's the story of Matilda of Flanders, Queen of England and wife to William the Conqueror. This is a book that I know that she's worked hard on. When I actually saw that she had published this, I was so extremely excited for her. We worked together years ago, and we used to have conversations about writing. When I saw that this was coming out and being published, I definitely wanted to support her and buy a copy, and I did. And again, it's not the genre that I typically read, but I will definitely be reading this, because again, a big support for her and excitement that she has done this. I would like to make this a regular thing. Again, I still have to, every time I think about rearranging that bookshelf, I get mildly terrified. I do actually, I think I need another bookshelf at this rate. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'm sitting here looking at 13 books that I've gotten in the past month, and I need a place to put them all. So I really have to crack on with that and maybe get another bookshelf somewhere, which I have one sitting there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. So far though, that is it. That is it. That's where we're at. That's what we've done. I can't wait to come back next month and kind of talk about the books that I read. I will probably give updates on my Instagram. That's just kind of what I do. But you know, it is what it is, and I like to read. Okay, well, that's it, guys. See you next month.